We are. Why? Why would you do that?
Gotta sync.
Dick.
Gotta
You
sync.
dick. We're live on the internet. We're recording. What's going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the T3G Tangents podcast. Hashtag the Tangents podcast. Check it out. We're on episode 40, guys. Episode 40.
Yeah, if for some reason this is your first time being here, if you don't know what tangents is, Google it.
Yeah, Google it. Come on.
Then you'll know what this podcast is about.
Google.
You know, please advice.
So I would say I'm probably more of like a stickler as far as it comes for spelling and shit like that.
You absolutely are.
Between the two of us.
Yeah.
Between the two of us.
Yes.
But it's just like when somebody does something so stupid that even you come to me with, look at this stupid shit.
Because
That's bad.
because they just use the word correctly, the right word, and then they end the whole thing with the wrong word. And I'm like, how the fuck did you fuck that up?
Autocorrect.
Please advice.
Please advice. So today,
Shit.
we're going to talk about a few different things. Kind of broad spectrum today.
Listen. First of all, you didn't change the topics.
Son of a bitch!
You didn't change the topics. You're gonna do it while we're talking.
I sure am.
Because you didn't change the topics. Let me just break it down for you. All right, you ready? Let me break it down for you. Cold Pursuit isn't a normal Liam Neeson movie, even though it looks like it. CGI is only bad if the movie.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
And loyal brand loyalty is stupid. All right, let's go outside and go.
What are you doing? That is not how podcasts are ran. That is not how podcasts go, sir. That is not at all. Oh, goodness.
That's how it goes.
So,
that's how it goes.
Cold Pursuit was we talked about this. This was, I think, one of our first topics.
It's a great.
When we came back from
hilarious.
Let me finish talking, motherfucker.
No.
This is one of our first, This is one of our first topics when we came back from our length of time that we did not have a podcast, like a regular weekly thing. And we talked about the controversy around Liam Neeson, his whole thing.
Oh yeah, we did.
And that was because of this movie. And in this movie, he plays a father whose son gets killed.
And he goes on, badass kickery ass and kicking ass, fucking ass kicking thingamajig.
He
kills everybody.
5 people?
Kills everybody.
He kills 5 people.
Liam Neeson style.
Here's my...
But
actually not at all Liam Neeson.
No, it's
and that's
not.
the thing.
I always
joke. And like,
you always
when we
do.
first started, I was like, oh, it's cold taken.
It's cold taken, yeah.
It's taken
but
on ice.
It wasn't.
It's
it
taken
wasn't.
on ice.
And I told you, because you were making fun of it when it was being released in theaters, and I was like, that's not what I'm seeing. I told you, I said it. I was like, that clearly looks like just some dude literally doing whatever he can to kill somebody, not like I'm a badass martial artist. I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna kill you because I have a special set of skills. No, he don't. He actually has zero.
And that's why.
He has zero.
I still like to have
Except
fun.
he knows very well how to plow.
I still like to have fun with it because then there was the one that was on a train, and I'm like, oh, it's taken on a train.
That's right.
But that dude seems to have no fucking clue either. So like,
yeah,
he is playing different characters, but it's just like he himself very often plays the same person.
So
characteristics.
So is it fair to say then it's not Batman? It's not Batman Begins. It's Taken Batman Begins.
It's Batman vs. Taken.
Oh, okay.
it's Taken Traden's Batman.
Regardless, fun movie. Here's the thing:
Although I will say that's probably one of the few where he's like a genuinely different character.
Is that the spider your wife wanted you to kill the other? It came all the way down here.
No, but you know what?
You know what? Listen, PETA. That was not a spider that just got killed.
Spiders aren't animals.
No, it was a good movie. It was definitely the director had the director had a different sense of humor than you normally see for sense of humor.
Except the problem was there wasn't really a sense of humor through most of it. There were like little bits here and there. I thought it was entertaining that like this dude, random dude, had a way to like dispose of had thought of a way to dispose of bodies.
No, he didn't think of a way. He literally said like
he saw it on
the chicken fencing or whatever he called it, like chicken wire. Like he saw that on a like a video on a Discovery thing.
Yeah,
like it was.
But like,
or he read in a book or something. Like
I just thought it was funny. Yeah, it was a book.
Yeah.
But I just thought like that was like little funny moments where like he like chokes this dude to death.
Yeah.
And then he like wraps him up in chicken wire, throws him off the edge of a.
But like the every time somebody dies, those cards are supposed to be the joke too. Like they're supposed to be comical. Like so, it is a humor.
Right.
It's a
dark humor.
It's a dark/dry humor.
But like through most of it, it was like you said, it was very dry. It wasn't like get a laugh out of you.
No.
It's
one of those.
Dude dies. They put up a card, and his
like
it's a cross or it's the Thunderbird.
Right.
It depends on who dies. You know, they everyone kind of got their own thing.
Yeah.
But then the fucking end. We're like, all right, that's the end. Like they had a moment, and then that dude who went on the fucking hang glider, who's apparently been in the air all night.
I mean, like
falls into the fucking snowball.
We all agree, and when I say we all agree, we had our buddy Dan, who was the special guest last time around. He watched it with us, and we all agreed that dude was dead before he got crushed. Yeah, no, for sure, he was frozen. He was frozen to death. Like he just happens to get crushed.
Crushed? He got shredded.
He was shredded.
Dude,
it was great. It was hilarious.
I was like, how the fuck do you end this movie that way? When they
ended it that way, I was laughing.
That's one of the few scenes I will never ever forget. That's gonna be one of those like I'll be 90 and be like that motherfucker got shredded.
Dude, I'm gonna be thinking like that motherfucker was up there all night. Like
how? Like cold? Like how?
Bro, he was born to fly. He was born to fly, bro.
Born to fly.
Listen, white man.
What was it, white boy? Or
I can't remember. But it was good.
I was kind of hoping you'd call him Paleface.
It was a fun movie. It was definitely like, you know, everybody was expecting it to be another Taken thing, and I knew it wasn't gonna.
Nothing. Like it was nothing.
But I definitely wasn't thinking it was gonna be that. But like, I didn't think it was gonna be another Taken thing. It was clearly some random guy who lost his son, wants revenge, and he's figuring out a way to get revenge. But yeah, that was good. That was good stuff. It was funny. I thought
it was a good movie.
It was. I wouldn't say it was great. I wouldn't say it was like amazing or anything. But for what it was, I give it I don't know, 6.5, 7.
Yeah, I'd say 6, solid 6. Yeah, it was a solid movie. Solid movie. So on the subject of movies, I watched a thing recently where they were talking about is CGI bad now? Now I want to preface by saying, I think CGI is probably better than it's ever been.
100%.
The capabilities of what we can do with it,
100%.
Incredible.
100%.
Problem is how many movies, is the speed at which movies are being cranked out.
Yep.
The Hollywood and like the machine, the studios, the ones that make all the stuff are just, they have a gun to their head basically. It's like, do it and do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, we need it now, we need 12 of them.
We want to make our money.
Yeah, and like I get there's certain things like the reason Avengers Endgame looks so fucking good is because they had 2 years for post.
Right.
If I had 2 years to do anything, it'd look great.
Right.
But a lot of fucking times you see, oh, they started filming in March. Oh, it comes out in September. What?
Yeah, I mean like what's it called? Hobbs and Shaw finished filming beginning of this year. He actually just had to go back to finish another scene real quick.
Yeah.
So like clearly, and it's coming out like August. So
yeah, that's
and
that's where like so you like I'm gonna walk into that movie not expecting like perfect CGI because that's not what it's about. For me, it's the adventure,
right, for sure. But I mean, I don't think you'll notice it. I think watching.
I don't think it'll be that bad. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it'll be horrible. Yeah. I think out of all of the...
I think if you sit down and look for it, of course.
I think in a lot of situations with those kinds of movies, a lot of stuff is practical.
Right. And it is. Usually
like
it
with what was it, 5 or
all
6.
Those cars falling down?
Yeah, they actually launched like, cars out of an airplane.
No, that was 8. That was 8. Oh, yeah, that was 6. Yeah, that was 6 or 7, right. But I'm talking about 8 where all those cars are dropping down from the parking structure. That was legit. They dropped all those cars from the parking structure.
Yes, but not as many as you saw in the movie. There's definitely CG.
Right.
Especially when she's like controlling them in waves and shit. Like that's not practical. That's CG. And like you can tell, but it's not bad to the point of where I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's like as quote unquote bad as that moment in Civil War where Tony Stark looks like a floating head.
Right.
And because the Iron Man suit's like not quite perfectly aligned to him.
Fun fact: the Need for Speed movie had 0 CG.
Yeah, because they actually picked up that car at the end of the chopper.
They did everything.
That was awesome.
100%.
That was so awesome.
100%. All practical effects.
As they should be.
Because the director himself was like, "I'm not doing CG on this movie."
Yeah, it's such a good movie. Like people didn't like it. And we're never going to see another one?
Well, no, we'll never see another one. But however, I would love to see that director do more car movies. Because if he was able to pull out...
Who was that?
If he was able to pull that out with no CG, God, I would love to see him do more car movies.
Right.
That would be great. Car-related movies with that director would be awesome.
Okay.
I don't remember the actual director's name.
For Speed.
But... I don't know. Dominic Cooper didn't do a great job. He overacted that role, and Aaron Paul definitely overacted his Paul.
Scott, wow, whoa. Let's see, what did he do?
Oh, he did Triple X. Shit.
The original Triple X.
Yeah.
Which I remember was also very practical.
He did stunts though. He didn't do. He didn't do.
What is his producer? Why is this?
Why does it say director?
Is he the director or the producer?
Is he both? I mean, he's both for that movie.
Okay, so let's hide stunts. Director, 5 credits.
5 credits.
Need for Speed, Act of Valor, 6 Below.
I mean, Act of Valor supposedly was
Miracle
a good
on
movie.
the Mountain. Is this like a different version of?
Nope. I know what you were thinking, but clearly not. This is definitely something else.
This is not at all.
Although Josh Hartnett is a great actor, I really wish I could see him in more shit.
Yeah.
But however, out of the movies that he did, from what I understand, Act of Valor is a pretty damn good movie.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I wonder what that Project Extraction is.
Project Extraction.
Yes, car stuff, baby.
Why is
It's
it
definitely
Japanese?
Asian though.
Why does it look Japanese?
It's definitely an Asian flick.
I might be wrong. That might be Korean. Really hard. 2 ex-Special Forces soldiers. No, that might just be the first poster. Then it might just be the Japanese poster.
Along
Escorted
Baghdad's.
Baghdad's Highway of Death. I actually know about that. Not like in depth, but I know about it. Jackie Chan!
Jackie Chan!
John Cena! Dude,
I love my Jackie Chan.
That's
man.
a good
Jackie
cast.
Chan will always, Jackie, listen to me, man. I will always watch your fucking movies, even if I have to watch them dubbed. I will watch them because I just love what you do as a stunt person, as an actor, as a director. Jackie Chan will always get me to watch his movies. Oh, he was just he was in Game of Thrones. He was. I was wondering.
He was okay. So he was in Overlord. He was the bad guy.
He was, yeah.
Who was Bato? Oh,
Oh,
he was Bato.
Didn't recognize him as Bato.
I'm not even a little bit, dude.
That's great, dude. He was in Game of Thrones too. That was him in Game of Thrones. That's right. He was the bad guy, which he did great.
Oh, I guess,
dude,
yeah.
that doesn't look like the same dude.
That looks like a completely different person.
Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not the same.
I mean, that was a bunch of people talk shit about Ghost in the Shell. That was a good movie.
Dude, that was a fucking great movie. That was a great fucking movie. Fuck everybody who says that's a bad movie.
Cool. Yeah, this is gonna be a good movie.
You heard me on record. Fuck anybody who says that's a bad movie. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I agree.
I don't know why I silenced that last fuck, because I definitely said it the first time.
Right. Right. Right.
No. Yeah. So yeah. No. So. But yeah. So CG
could be fun.
CG is bad.
I like this kind of car. I like the kind of off-road / dune buggy kind of trucks.
Yeah. Well, that's just a Nissan Frontier made into a Baja truck.
Baja. That's the word I was looking for.
CGI is bad when it's rushed. And here's an example, like for
and
instance,
I will tell you,
for instance,
this is in pre-production and post-production. That's the first poster. That was a rushed poster.
Like Battle Angel was not even rushed, but it had its moment where CG wasn't great.
Right.
But then that little moment where it wasn't, the rest of it was amazing.
Right.
So, there's that aspect.
And I would say Battle Angel is probably one of the best CG movies in recent time.
Fuck yes.
And even still, it had problems.
Yeah.
I would say going back to like Jungle Book, incredible CG movie. There was like a couple spots with the Mama Wolf where I was kind of like, eh. But otherwise, like, holy shit.
Right.
And again, huge production,
right.
all CG.
I mean, the new Lion King is going to be a perfect example of great fucking CG.
Yeah, and there might be a moment where you're kind of like, weird, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Like, I would say, especially with something like that where it's all CG.
Yeah, 100%.
I have two schools of thought on it. I think there are movies that are all CG where I'll give them like a pass here and there.
Right.
But at the same time, there are movies who are not like huge CG productions, et cetera, where you look at it and there is a ton of CG, but you don't know it's there.
Right.
And that's when it's fucking great.
Yeah.
Like, look at something like Infinity War, not for the spectacle CG of it, but like when the Wakandans show up on the hill, there was like 30 people there, but it looked like 3 million.
Right.
It looked like 3,000.
Yeah.
But there was only 30 people there.
Right.
But you couldn't tell.
No.
It was
it's all
perfect CG
It's all about
moment.
rush and not rush. Like Marvel is a perfect example. They can do fucking fantastic CG, but then they did fucking Civil War and it was awful.
I mean, the whole thing wasn't awful, but it just
quite a lot
couple
of
moments where
quite
it was
a lot
real
of it
bad.
was bad.
That was the problem. It had a couple moments that were fine. Most of it was probably fine.
Right.
But it had a couple moments that were just like, this isn't even like bottom tier Marvel.
Right.
Like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Like Giant Man, I think it was just kind of awkward because he was a little stretchy. He felt a little gooey, like because they kind of fit him into place. Beyond that, like Spider-Man, I thought was really good. Like Falcon was still really good. But there was just a lot of Iron Man spots where, like, how did 100%. You? It looks like you just, like, before you rendered, you just accidentally moved the model. Like, you moved the model accidentally.
Yeah, so it wasn't...
What's up, Uncle Peter? He already disappeared.
It wasn't a good... So, yeah, I mean, of course, can CG be bad? Of course it can be bad because it's only bad because it's rushed. And, of course, if you have shitty... people behind CG, like if you're CG people,
right? You're always gonna have a bad company.
Then, that fucking sucks.
Because I mean, even with Cold Pursuit, like you're gonna see, like I'm sure if we were to go behind the scenes, it wasn't all practical.
Right. I mean, we've mentioned multiple times like those scenes where he's driving to the city, fucking awful CG.
Oh god, that was terrible. That was fucking terrible.
Yeah, it was horrendous.
What's up, Uncle Peter? I'm presuming that's you again. I saw that you had said hi, so I wanted to say hi.
But yeah, no, CG has its moments, and obviously, like for instance, that guy you watched that you showed me, like he pointed out Jurassic World, and I was like, yeah, if I fucking pay attention to that, it's not good.
And again,
but
if
it's in the moment when I was watching that fucking movie, I was like, that's a giant ass dinosaur. It's time for me to run.
If you're watching the original Jurassic Park next to Jurassic World. Yeah, the original is going to feel like it has more weight and has more...
Of course.
It's real because it was a real thing.
They built the practical fucking...
But at the same time, like, you're never going to fucking do that.
Right.
You're never going to sit there and, like, watch them next to each other and be like, the old one's better. Like, no.
No, never at
any
point.
And also, it's not... Again, like you said earlier, because they're being cranked out so often, it's not practical to do practical. Right. Like, they had practical in the second Jurassic World. Yeah. The thing in the truck, they had a giant mock-up. Yeah. But, like, when it's moving around, like, that's a lot. It looks stupid and
That's
weird. A lot.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot to make that look good.
Right. So, like, that's why, like, when it moves and when it's clawing the wall of the trailer, it's CG.
Right,
because, like...
Yeah. Dude, not at one point watching either one of the Jurassic Parks, I was like, oh, that didn't look good. Like, I was like...
Yeah, if anything, I would say when the T-Rex screams, growls? I don't know. Roars? Sure.
Yeah, sure.
It like the mouth pieces are like
flapping around.
I was just like that's crazy good.
Yeah.
That's crazy good.
Yeah,
Because I'm like,
100%.
Obviously the original one, it was speakers making the noises for it, and they'd added more sound in post.
Right.
So it didn't have the does it have more weight? Sure. But it doesn't have the.
But guess what?
biology.
I didn't see the fucking.
Yeah, it doesn't have the biology of it. It doesn't have
Yeah.
the kind of realism.
No. Yeah.
I mean, is it going to be super hard to do a mix of the two? Absolutely.
Right.
But however, I think the example of Black Panther was good because the Black Panther in Civil War was really fucking good.
True. I mean, I like I said,
just
that's why I knew I had issues with the movie. I just didn't always know how to put everything in wordage. But like when I saw that point, I was like, oh yeah, I did have that.
Yeah, that last fight was just too much CG.
Yeah,
and that's why they kept taking their masks off so that you can kind of bring it back into the scene. Yeah. But I'm like,
well, that's why to me, like culturally, sure, amazing movie, but like as a film, it wasn't an amazing film. It wasn't the fucking spectacular.
It was really good.
Yeah, no, it was a good movie.
But it was.
But it wasn't what people were making and when they were saying like it was fucking fantastic. I'm like,
it's not a masterpiece.
Like it's not a masterpiece.
It's
like,
not a masterpiece. It's really good. I had a great time. I enjoyed the shit out of it.
100% enjoyed.
But again, and I don't even think this is nitpicking. The CG was not that great.
No, it was not.
And I think that could be partly because it was rushed. There was stuff that was great in it.
I feel like it's very possible that
the chase scene with the car, that was all CG.
Yeah,
it was really fucking good. But then the rhinoceros was never good. Yeah. It was never at a point where I'm like, I believe that.
Right.
It's
all about. If
you look at Game of Thrones. Like Game of Thrones is a great example. Like they have dragons on that shit every week.
Yeah.
And I was watching these guys, this other video where it was like these major mainstream CG dudes.
Right.
They make CG for film and shit. They were kind of critiquing different things, and they showed a clip of that, and there was one where somebody was petting the dragon.
Right.
And they're nitpicking and this is why and this is why it doesn't look right, and it was lighting and this, that, and that. And I'm like, yeah, but when I'm watching it, she's petting a dragon.
Bro, it's a TV show.
It's weekly.
It's a weekly TV show that
I can't even beat that.
They're utilizing that kind of CG.
Right. I mean, you look at something like I think Continuum was a great example of really good CG continuously.
Yeah.
The future world they created.
Yeah.
Really fucking good.
That's why I was so. I mean, outside that it's one of the reasons I was extremely upset when Fox canceled Almost Human because.
It was really
visuals were fucking fantastic
good.
For a Fox show.
It was very much
fantastic.
It was very much a matter of future tech being believable.
Oh yeah,
not just crazy shit.
100%.
It was just let me make a phone call, and it was the holographics and everything was really believable. It felt tangible.
Everything about it, absolutely. I mean, amazing. So yeah, I mean, it just all depends on. Who's working on your, show or movie, and how rushed is it? If you're not given enough time, shit's not gonna look good. Just like a director needs enough time to direct a fucking cast on how to act.
Right.
And then the cast doing 50 takes before they get the one right.
Right. I mean, look at the pivotal moment of Endgame. Was shot a year after the fucking filming was done.
Right. So
because they had this moment and they were like, "Fuck, let's do it."
Yeah. So it's no, you can't rush shit. You have to give enough time for everything. And so yeah, can CGI be overused or done badly? Of course it can. Can you pick out CGI if you sit down and fucking snap a picture of it and then you look at it for a while? Yeah, no shit.
Dude, yeah, but it's the same thing. I can sit there. I'm sure if I went frame by frame in Endgame and Infinity War, I'd probably pick out all of it.
We've already said in Endgame, when they first go and chop Thanos' head off, that part, when Thanos is walking around on that world before they get there, doesn't look great.
It's not great.
It doesn't look as great as
But it was, I honestly thought, if I'm being nitpicky, I honestly thought that whole kind of sequence was a little rushed.
Yeah.
It was just all right, now we're on a spaceship, now we're on the planet, now we killed him.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And I was like, I guess, that sets the stage, but then it was 5 years later, and I was like, okay, sure.
I really didn't care for 5 years.
later.
You know what they could have done a lot better? You literally use the same effect as everybody disappeared to put it on and take it off instead of that fucking five. Like you could have just done that effect.
It was
like Russo brothers. Listen, if you need another co-director, call me up. I'll let you know. I'll be like, listen.
But that's like nitpicky shit.
But it is.
It's not like that didn't ruin the movie.
It didn't ruin the movie. Just like that moment, like while I'm watching, I'm like, really?
Just like the girl.
That much time to save 5 years later.
Just like the girl power moment. It didn't ruin the fucking movie for me.
It didn't ruin the movie, but it took me for a quick second. It did take me out of the moment because I was like, no. I know women are badasses because Scarlet Witch just took on Thanos on her own, which she needed a ship to throw rockets down to them.
And I very much think that.
No, I get it.
We talked about this before. It's show don't tell. There's the moment in Infinity War where. She's not alone.
Right.
And then they whoop her ass.
Right.
That was not over the top. Right. That was just one of the other fights happening throughout the whole thing. Yeah. Like it felt natural.
Right.
It did not feel natural.
There was nothing felt natural about it.
Like if a couple of them did that, I could concede that a couple of them would land at the same time. All of them? It's a much.
No, it's So can it be? I mean, anything can be over or not utilized properly. CGI can look bad, and then also storytelling can be bad because, for example, you throw in a bunch of women in one scene because you want to be like, by the way, just in case you needed us to
By the way, we have girls in this movie. If you forgot
that, more than 50% of the cast is female, if you were unaware.
I know we started as and then they took a photo of like that group, posted on Instagram, and Natasha wasn't in it, and people are like, she was the first event. I'm like, yeah, but she's dead by that point. She finished her filming 6 months earlier.
Yeah, she's dead. Get over it.
She fucking left.
Get over it.
She's at home. She was at home. She was working on her next movie.
But no, I mean, can CGI look bad? Can it not look as good as practical? Of course it can, but
at the same time, you could look at practical. You look at TV shows that use a lot of explosions and practical,
but at the same time,
and walls breaking and shit. Like, well, that's clearly fun. I know you didn't break a wall.
At the same time, if I went to every fucking movie and I was like, I'm gonna pay attention to this one specific thing and I'm gonna call some BS on it, I could find problems with everything.
Right. So, exactly. It depends
stop looking
on
for the negatives.
It depends on what you're looking for when you go to a movie.
Always my number one thing. I go to a movie to be entertained.
Yeah.
Anything from there.
Yeah. That's why that guy who was like, fucking Venom was blah blah, and I'm like, yeah, but I wasn't going into Venom for A, Oscar-worthy performances. I wasn't going into Venom for B,
an amazing plot.
Beautiful, like stunning visual. No. I knew this was going to be a glob fighting another glob.
Oh, the horrible scene at the end with Venom fighting another symbiote. It was just ridiculous. CGI splattered everywhere. I'm like,
just like Transformers.
Yes, it's a symbiote fighting a fucking symbiote. What did you think it was?
Just like
martial arts.
Just like the end of Infinity War.
Right.
They're not fighting real aliens.
Right.
I don't know if anyone was fucking confused about that.
So at the end of the day, if you wanna, yes, CGI can be bad if you're fucking staring for it. If you're literally at the movie like, I'm gonna fucking find it, you're gonna find it. Trust me, more times than you think.
Right.
So,
exactly. So, I want to go into brand loyalty.
Brand
loyalty is a very interesting concept to me. I was dealing with it the other day. We were talking about this. I said, why? Because I had a customer at work, and he said,
"Can I say something real quick?
I need this to work."
Can I say something? Just real quick. It's literally it's like a 4-word sentence. Brand loyalty normally is the dumbest thing in the world.
100%.
Normally.
100%.
Not saying that it can't be good, but normally it's the dumbest thing in the world.
Yeah, brand loyalty when it comes to consumerism is stupid.
It's dumb.
I had a customer, and he was talking to me about his computer, and his computer's broken, and he said, I need this thing to work, I sold my car and other things to buy this computer. And my first thought was, you're a fucking idiot.
Dude, the minute I read that, I would be like, I don't even know how to help you, bro. You already fucked up with life.
Your priorities are all fucked up.
You fucked up with life.
Now, could there be a situation where that's not a big deal? Like, people who live in Chicago, they sell their car because they take public trains everywhere.
Sure.
And they work, like,
New York,
down the street, New York, right. So, yeah, I mean, could there be a situation where he lives in one of those situations and he just doesn't need a car? Like, it's just taking up space, collecting dust? Sure.
Sure, but then you don't need to lead into the conversation.
Right, but then, like, you just did something practical. Right. Like, you didn't do anything. You didn't sacrifice a fucking limb.
Right.
Whereas, like, I need a car. Right. If I was to get rid of my car, I am at the bottom rung. And if I'm getting rid of my car, I'm not doing it to buy a fucking computer.
If
I had
to get rid of my car, it's like cutting off one of my legs, man.
So at which point, I'm like, you could have bought a cheaper computer. You could have built a computer. You could have had the same computer for less money.
It's
exactly. It's the brand. You look at people who shop Nike and they only buy Nike, and Nike is the best. I mean, I remember when I was at Radio Shack, people would come in. Do you have any Sony TVs? And I'm like, no, we got a bunch of TVs.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a huge fucking brand loyalty towards Under Armour. I still don't spend their full fucking money they ask for. I wait for that shit to go on sale.
Sale and clearance, my friend. Sale and clearance. Bro, right, there's nothing wrong with saying I like the quality of this product. There's nothing wrong with that.
Don't get me wrong. I love Under Armour shoes. They're the best ones I've had so far, comfort-wise, lasting-wise. But that doesn't mean it's a $150 set of shoes.
Right, so, exactly. It's the difference, and I think the difference between understanding what you like and your brand preference versus brand loyalty is, do I buy it day one when it comes out? Like, the people who are spending literally $300 on a Supreme crowbar.
Oh, yeah, that shit.
A crowbar.
Yeah, that's...
The only reason you're buying it is brand. You're buying something that's Supreme.
100%.
Nobody's buying it because it's a better crowbar. It's a piece of fucking metal.
It's a crowbar, bro.
It's not crowbarring any better than any other crowbar.
Bro, I'm tossing Supreme on a crowbar right now. I'm gonna sell that shit for $500.
It's dumb. It's dumb, and I do not understand brand loyalty. That's the reason I talked about when I said buying. Like, don't allow them to just force you into buying a new phone every year. Just because you love Samsung doesn't mean that you should buy Samsung every year.
Right.
You should look at all the options.
That's insanity.
Because you might get a better camera out of shit. Can't talk about brand loyalty without mentioning Apple products. Of course. Apple products are another fucking huge thing, right? People go and they spend thousands of dollars on computers. They spend $1,000 for their new iPhone, and it's like, yeah, but did you need the stuff?
Right.
Like, are you buying... Because that's the thing. I think a lot of people are buying it for brand awareness, like for image.
Yeah.
More so than like, this is what I need. This is what I'm going to
buy. I was one of those people. I'm like, I had a Note 4. And before that, I loved my Galaxy S4. I loved it. I absolutely just loved the phone. But... I was switching plans.
Dino still has my S4.
And I was switching plans and stuff like that, and I went to a different provider and stuff like that, and so I was like, fuck it, I'll get a new phone, and I get a Note 4. What a fucking joke. That phone is $1,000. The battery, and it's a replaceable battery, and no matter, even though I replaced the batteries, it didn't fix the battery issue.
No.
And on top of that, Samsung would not update the phone anymore after I fucking got it. Literally, it went up one software after that. That's $1,000 phone.
And I'll give Apple that much.
After that, I went $150 for a fucking Huawei, and I will continue to buy cheap ass phones.
You'll have to pick a different brand now that they're illegal.
Sure, but at the end of the day, the only disappointment with this, which I've never used it that way, like greatly that way, I've used it as a camera. Sure, the camera's not great. Or at least the app isn't, or whatever. But at the end of the day, outside of that, it's stupid. It's absolutely idiotic to be so blind that you're willing to spend thousands of dollars not realizing the fact that it's no better than something else that's way less money.
100%. But that is the one thing I will give Apple on their phones. they at least update their shit for like several versions back.
Oh, for sure.
Like I've got the iPhone 6 that I bought off Dino, and it runs the latest version.
Right.
That's what, like fucking four or five generations old.
Whereas Android, you're done after like once it's 2 years old.
Right. Unless you're on the Nexus / Pixel line.
Right.
Like I don't even know. Like, does the Nexus does the Nexus 5 still run
Probably
the latest
not.
version?
Probably not.
You know, like there's a max limit.
Yeah.
And there should be. We've talked about this. Sometimes your shit is just too old. Sorry,
shit's just too
but your
old,
shit should not be too old a year from now.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I should not have to buy a new Samsung to be able to get Android Q.
Right. Here's
like,
the
if
thing.
you buy an S10 today,
right,
you should be able to upgrade to Android Q in 6 months.
Well, here's the thing. Like, this is an old phone. Let's say I go to a store and I'm like, all right, I don't want to.
You're on O, right?
Right. No, I have no idea. 7? I think we're on 7.
Okay.
So if I go in and I'm able to buy a cheap phone, $150 again, if you're still selling it in stores and you didn't take that inventory away, then I should be able to, for the next 4 years, get OS upgrades. Not updates, upgrades.
I would think so.
For 4 years. I think 4 years is an okay
Because
number.
in reality, you're not changing the software to need such greater hardware.
Right. Especially if it's like, let's say I'm buying one in 2020. In 2020 to 2024, there's not going to be a significant difference in hardware for me not to be able to get every fucking year you release a new OS. So I should be able to get at least 4 years worth of OS.
100% agree. 100% agree.
But at some point, shit is too old. So like, I think 4 years is a good point. I think 5 years is probably the max. Once you start getting into 6, 7 years, you've reached the limit. Like there's no way you should be able to get because there's no guarantee that the OS will work on that hardware anymore. So.
Asus, however, I got to give it to Asus. So I was going to say is most brands like Samsung, LG, they have their own skin and their own software that they include.
Right.
You got to fucking add Bixby into the system. Right. Bullshit.
Right.
Like all the more reason for like them to like take longer and then just never give you an update.
Yeah.
Like, oh well, we got to integrate the Samsung part of the Android experience. Like, stupid.
Samsung.
I got to give it to Asus. Their new Zenfone 4 or whatever it is, apparently, basically flat Android. What? They have one app that's theirs, and I think the weather app is not the original.
Dude,
otherwise,
why do you need 50
flat.
things? Why do you need 50 things? There's so many people that provide all the apps for everything. You as a company should just worry about providing a good phone.
Exactly.
Don't worry about fucking software because the software's already made.
Especially somebody like Samsung. Samsung is huge.
Right.
Huge. Yeah. They don't need this like incremental bullshit fucking like the let's say $300 profit per unit every year. Samsung makes TVs. Samsung makes fucking like washers, dryers.
Yeah, they make a bunch of shit.
Fucking everything
they
across
make shit
the
that
board.
I probably don't even think about.
Right. Yeah. And I'm sure they own other companies that make other shit.
100%.
They don't need this incremental bullshit.
No.
Like, Asus realized that. Asus realized they don't need this like booming cell phone market.
I think
no, they have an option. Yeah. They can make a little bit of extra money for a little bit of extra investment. But otherwise, they make fucking computers, they make fucking motherboards, all this shit.
We've talked about this. To me, I think this yearly bullshit of release of hardware and software is idiotic. It's just literally to stay. It's literally just to stay relevant because they're worried like, oh, if we don't release every year, we're gonna be not relevant.
And I think that's stupid.
And I'm like, all you're doing is guaranteeing issues. That's it.
My recommendation, and I've brought this up before.
That's why fucking Samsung's phones were blowing up because they guaranteed an issue.
Right.
They didn't guarantee a better phone. They guaranteed an issue.
And that's why I think what it should be is software 1 year, hardware the next year. That way you can prepare the hardware, you can prepare the software for the hardware that's on the market.
Every 2 years,
not like I got a brand new iPhone. I should get a brand new OS. No, that's stupid. I should have a brand new iPhone with software that we know works.
Right.
And then prepare the software for that hardware.
Right. 100%.
So that next year, new software. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Like.
No. Yeah.
It just makes more sense that way. I get a new Pixel,
I think it should be if it's going to be an actual upgrade. It should be every 2 years, not every year.
And that's kind of what Android is. That's kind of what Google is doing, right? Pixel comes out in like November, November comes out. Android comes out in like July.
Right.
They've got a few months to make sure that shit works.
Right.
Because I'll tell you, I've had 2. Out of the gate, I didn't have any issues.
Right.
But I know people have issues out of the gate with brand new iPhones.
Yeah.
Because they launch the fucking same day their software does.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me.
No, it's stupid.
And then, but like Samsung and LG and Motorola, I'm sure.
Right.
They all have this delay.
Yeah.
So they, it hurts.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the market is going ahead without them.
Right.
So, yeah, if you get a brand new Samsung, you might get 1 new version, maybe 2.
But that's
if you're very lucky.
Right. And honestly, that's only due to how much fucking extra additional software they put of their own.
Right.
If they didn't do that, you would have...
I never understood Bixby. Google's already doing this. They're doing it fucking well.
Yeah.
Let them do that thing.
Yeah, no, just worry about releasing a good phone.
Right. It should be a good phone.
I mean hardware-wise. I'm not worried about software. You already have software.
Give me the best possible hardware experience. Right. I don't need you, make me a great camera. Yeah. Samsung makes cameras.
Right.
Get the right pieces together and get a great system.
No, it's...
And then be like, oh, also it runs Android and you get...
No, the problem is
system.
we're in a world where if it's not yearly, it's not relevant, and that's the dumbest thing you can do as a company. And hopefully one day companies will realize that. Hopefully, but we'll see. The problem is there's too many idiots out there. They're willing to give them money every year.
Well, I mean, you look at something like Apple. Apple's losing their iPhone share. Their numbers went down, especially in China.
Well,
but I think that's because China has Huawei and they have all these other brands that are much more prominent.
Huawei will definitely sell in China. I promise you that.
Well, they ain't gonna sell here. Well, I mean, they're not gonna sell shit now. They can't have Android,
which doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Android is free as far as I understand. Android
all they can do is purchase things, and Android
right. You would have the Google Store,
right?
But you don't need that. You can make your own,
right?
Yeah, I don't know. I fucking, you have when you start getting into these tariffs and when politics gets involved, shit's all fucked up.
Yeah, no,
that's
a whole different conversation. But yeah, no, I think brand loyalty is a very stupid thing. I think it's overall.
There's definitely.
Don't get me wrong. I've had great experiences with brands or companies. And a lot of times I will go back to that brand and company.
Right.
But I won't pay their full price. And that's not because I don't want to support them. It's because I know that's not what that particular item is worth.
Right.
And
it's not even necessarily. That's not even necessarily saying that it's not worth that to anyone.
Well, sure,
it's not worth that to you.
Right, but it's not worth to me, and I know it didn't cost anywhere near that much to make it. So that's just certain things are just an absurd amount of profit. Going back to Apple, you really believe that their phone cost them $1,500 to make?
Fuck no.
You think it cost them $1,000 to make? No, fuck. It probably cost them $300. Right,
but there is something to be said about the overhead, right? They got to be able to pay for it. They got to be able to ship it. You're paying for it got built in China. You're paying for the shipping too.
Yeah, but you're also paying 10 cents for the labor. So
there's that.
Yeah,
that's also another conversation.
So
no, it's a fine line. And for instance, I had a new sump pump put in.
Right.
I know I can buy a sump pump for $170 to $300 depending on the grade that I want.
Right.
Let's say worst case scenario $500. I paid $950 or whatever for those guys to come in here, put it in. Guess what? Worth it for me. Worth every penny. Why? They brought it, they installed it, they trudged through my fucking flooded crawl space, installed it the day I needed it.
Right.
Worth it. 100% worth it for me because I don't know how to install that shit. I mean, I might be able to figure it out, but I've never done it.
Right.
I don't want to do it in an emergency situation where my shit's about to flood. Sure. Cool. I have no problem paying that.
But that's
because I'm paying for expertise, timeliness.
Right, but that's a whole different thing. That's not a brand loyalty. Right. You needed that done.
Well, but I'm just saying. I just mean how much things cost versus how much things you pay for things. To me, 100% worth it. Now, if I was to call somebody and it's not an emergency, and I've done it where it's I call somebody and they're like, "Well, this is the price," and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't need it that bad.
Right.
I'll do it myself or go somewhere else. It becomes, I mean, like with the air duct cleaning, I had somebody come out and he explained this whole thing to me, boom, 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 and it was like $800 fucking dollars, and I was like, I don't know, seems reasonable. Right. Erico said, try somebody else. Tried somebody else. They're like, this is what we're gonna do. Boom, boom, boom. $400, and I'm like, well, that's drastically different.
Right.
Like,
well, yeah.
So, and it was, a lot of the first thing was sales pitch.
Right. Well, if you don't, right. I mean, of course it is, but at the same time, if you don't research for different thing or for the same thing with different places, like that's a stupid move on your end.
And that's where
you're just spending money.
Right.
Yeah, because like I can tell you, for instance, like I'm certain, I know because I've done it. You buy a Mac laptop, a MacBook Pro, right, at about $2,200, I can find you that same computer, just not running Mac OS, for $1,200. Right. I will save you $1,000. Easy. Same specs, but just not running Mac OS.
But it doesn't have iMessage, honest.
Oh well, shit.
Doesn't have and again, that goes into per person, per use case, right? Yeah. If you rely on iMessage, if you rely on AirDrop, AirPlay, that kind of shit, I can't be mad at you.
I mean, I can't be mad
at
you.
If that's what you're used to. Sure. Like my mother-in-law, if I gave her a PC for free, better than her Mac, yeah, she'd be lost.
That's why
out of her mind, lost.
That's why my wife had a laptop. Her laptop was a Mac. I built her a PC, mm-hmm, and I was like, "You're gonna learn to use both."
Right.
Because you're not going to be stuck on one and not know how to fucking use the other one. That'd be stupid.
Right. Exactly. So, I mean, you get to a point where if you're used to certain things, and if you're just like, you're not really good with learning different systems, right, hey, stick with what fucking works. I get it.
And here's what's funny. She told me all the time how much she loved her Mac.
Right.
When it finally died...
Oh, it did die.
Well, it didn't die. It's got that graphics issue, and I'm not going to pay to fix that bullshit. So, yeah. So, and I mean, I wouldn't... one, I could fix it by buying the part, but, like, I'm not even going to do that. So...
It's like a $400 board.
So, at the end of the day, she was going to buy a new computer, and I said, you getting another Mac? And she's like, no... I'm buying she bought a PC, she bought a Windows, and she straight up said, like, I didn't like how the Mac worked. As in, like, how it how the OS worked. Even though she loved her Mac, it was the first thing she got when she started editing photos for a job.
Right.
And that's what she was used to. And even after being used to it for 7 years...
Right.
She was like, nah, I prefer Windows. And I'm like, yes, you do. Because it is just... If there's something to be said, I hate Windows because their service is shit. Their customer service is awful.
They're terrible. They're fucking terrible.
They might as well not be there.
Right. You might as well automate it. Get the fuck out of here.
And their updating system sucks balls ass because, like, they released an update that literally... What was it? Like, erased shit. Like, straight up just... They knew it erased.
Yeah, but Apple's done that shit.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right. But I'm just saying...
But that goes back to that, like...
There is something to be said that, like... Most of the times, except... We're not going to talk about Windows 8 or Vista. But most of the time, Windows is fairly easier to use. It flows better. It just...
I mean, people disagree with you on that.
But that's fine. But here's the thing. People disagree with me, but I had a woman that loved her Mac laptop. She spec'd it to fucking all hell. She paid tons of money. She worked on that shit for 7 years. But using the two systems, she preferred Windows.
I mean, that's fine. But I think that just goes back to preference. That sounds like she finally got a taste of both worlds and made a decision based on her preference, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
If that same situation happens with somebody who's used Mac their whole fucking life,
right.
or Windows, and they end up buying a Mac because they prefer the experience, I'm not mad at you.
But I mean, I use both as well. I have been using both for 7 years now.
Yeah, I've been using both for a long time.
And I prefer, even though I hate both OSs, like, for their reasons, I prefer Windows.
As far, I mean, like, yeah. But
now,
what you're saying is you hate Windows. You hate Windows, like the back end experience, not so much the extra Windows. I actually really like Windows. I like parts of Mac OS. I
like parts of Mac OS, but like
I think there's no competition for Time Machine. I wish there was. The one software that I found is close.
Carbonite?
No, I mean Carbonite's a whole different situation. But I just mean like with hooking up an external hard drive. Right. What was it? EaseUS.
Sure.
Works very similarly. Right. But I've never actually tried to like restore it. I don't know how good it is.
Right.
But I mean like Time Machine is fucking good. It's really fucking good.
Yeah.
Mail on Mac. I hate Outlook. I fucking hate Outlook. Outlook is so goddamn complicated.
The new Outlook,
the new mail app on the computer.
I was going to say the mail.
I mean,
yeah. I don't care. Right? Yes, my bad. The mail app.
Yeah, the new mail app is okay. It's pretty good. Yeah. It has the same issues. It has the same issues that I have.
Macs have never been virus proof.
No, Macs have never.
That is the
Macs have never been
delusion that people always told each other. The only reason Macs were virus proof was because back in the day, most people used Windows, and so hackers would focus on the majority of the users, which was Windows. Yeah. So they didn't focus on hacking Linux and
that's why
Mac.
When there was this was probably
Macs were never virus proof.
Probably 7, 10, maybe 10 years ago, there was like an actual like full blown like Mac virus that was made. And it was like a big fucking deal because people freaked out because they thought it was virus proof. It's not. The problem is, like, an actual, like, there's a difference. And I think people are generally confused by that. There is an actual difference between a full-blown virus, which is like an in-depth, like, software that's built to fuck your shit up.
Yeah.
Like, it fucks your shit up.
Yeah, it just fucks everything.
And there's a difference between that and like
malware.
Like general malware, where it's like the adware, the shit that just kind of gets in the way. Yeah. You know, the shit that's like, you have 1,000 problems. Click here, spend $100, we'll fix it all. Like, that's bullshit. That's not a virus. A virus is when you are fucking done. You can't use your computer. Yeah. Like, I've had a couple of those over the years. It's not a fun fucking time. It's not a fun fucking time.
I had I don't know if you knew about it, but I had a virus where it was like, I didn't have it. We got it, and we were putting it on systems for shit.
You're fucking asshole.
But what it would do is legitimately, it would, no matter what you did, you couldn't prevent your CD drive from closing. It always made your CD drive open. Anytime you turned on the computer, you couldn't prevent it from opening.
Fuck, I couldn't. I could push it closed.
It would pop right back open.
But again, even that's not like a virus. But
that is a virus. That is something that has control over your system.
Right, but I mean, like, that's nuisance more than anything.
But that is nuisance. It was a very small virus. Right. It's not like it's a full system shutdown.
Yeah, I'm talking destructive. I'm talking like your fucking data disappears. I had one. This is not even that I had it. I had when I worked at the computer repair shop back in the day, I had someone come in with a virus, and it was like a legit virus. I open it, and their drive space is just disappearing.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
And we run all the normal shit, and everything looked fine. And I'm looking at it, and the drive space keeps fucking disappearing. And I'm just like, what the fuck is happening? Yeah. I find a folder, and I just see files duplicating. I'm like, the fuck is this? Yeah. Like, I've never seen that. I've seen it a couple times.
And people are 100% confused on the difference, and it's funny to me because.
People are just like, I thought Macs couldn't get. No, that's not true. My mother-in-law, again, she's used Macs for fucking a decade, probably 2.
No, Macs have always been able to get viruses. They always have been able to get malware. It's just the focus. The focus was on Windows at the time in the beginning years, and now Macs,
especially before the Intel switch. Especially before the Intel switch, it was just harder because people didn't know how to write for PowerPC.
Right.
It's a different architecture.
Yeah. So and now Macs get malware all the time. So
right. I mean, it's everything. Everything is the same way. But like going back to loyalty, it doesn't matter, right?
Right.
It doesn't matter. Right. People will buy that shit.
No, yeah, it doesn't matter because
it's their status. You could even mean something.
Well, that's the thing. You could even tell them. You could even tell them,
yeah.
like, I was like, oh, Macs are bulletproof. I'm like, no, nobody's ever said Macs are bulletproof.
Right.
Steve Jobs himself never told you that a Mac was bulletproof. He told you it was an amazing piece of machine.
Right.
But he never told you nothing was going to happen. He never told you it wasn't never going to break. He never told you it wasn't going to get a virus.
I hear a lot of talk. I've been so I watched that Louis Rossmann guy, and he's been talking a lot about the forums on the Apple site. So I like spent some time on the forums.
Right.
And you get people that are like, I remember a time when Macs just worked, and I remember watching a video a long time ago, and it was Steve Jobs, and weirdly Tim Cook was with him, and I didn't know that they were in the company at the same time.
I think they knew each other for a while.
What the fuck did he said something like it was like an interview. It was weird. It was like one of their keynote things.
Yeah.
But it was like they're just like on stools and they were taking questions, and I was like, this is weird. But somebody said, I forget what the question was, but he was just like, blah blah blah, like we like it, we like our computers to just work, and I'm like, you son of a bitch, like, because then you have these people who are now like, I remember when Macs used to just work, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, I mean, yeah, just work, but.
Yeah, but that means nothing.
Shit's not impervious to problems. No. Nothing is. But again, it's that mentality that they set out there years ago.
When the human beings become perfect, then you can expect that.
Right,
but that'll never happen. So like you can't have a perfect.
But they spent 20 years like cultivating this mentality that it's
of course
better for a certain type of thing. I mean, like even for graphics, like back in the day, they were actually better calibrated for graphic design.
Right.
But then when they started using the same shit as everyone else, it was the same shit.
Yeah.
But then that mentality, people still gravitate towards it. I'm watching Sarah Dietschy just did this whole thing where because of the new Mac hardware design, she's switching. Yeah. She's just had problems with it. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, that sucks. Yeah. And that's like pro user. That's a pro user. Yeah. She edits on her shit. Yeah. She needs her ports and all that shit. She's just like, I don't want to deal with fucking dongles. Right. And I'm like, I don't fucking blame you, dude.
Well, yeah, 100%. I mean, the whole like, oh, we're gonna have 2 ports. Like what? You're confused on your users. You're very confused because
you can't call a fucking device pro with only 2 ports.
Ain't nobody using only 2 ports. Nope, don't give a flying fucking.
But Hannes, you know what? It comes with a gunmetal gray now. I mean, what's space gray? Right?
I mean, sir, what's a computer?
Fucking. I fucking hated that commercial. The first time I saw that commercial for the iPod or iPad. And it was like, oh, what you doing on your computer? And she's like, what's a computer? And I'm like, you motherfucker.
Guess what, motherfucker? You still need a computer to fucking get that thing properly functioning.
Like, tablets are not fucking computers.
God, nah. Stupid.
I was in No Small Creator Group. People were talking about how they edit. And he was like, oh, I edit in this app. I edit in this thing. And he named it. And I'm like, I've never fucking heard of that. So I like Google it. And it's a fucking iPad app. And I'm like, tablets are not fucking computers. They're fucking accessories. Listen, kudos to you if you've got the patience to edit a video with your fucking finger. Kudos to you. But that shit's stupid.
I don't care.
If you can't use a mouse on it, sorry, not a fucking computer.
Even if you can, I still would not want to do that on a fucking on a fucking tablet.
Like there are tablet Windows PCs, but guess what? If I hook that shit up to a mouse, then it's just a computer.
Right.
It's not some magical thing that no longer fucking qualifies.
No.
Can you do a bunch of shit on the iPad? Sure. Can you do a bunch of cool shit? Cool. The iPad Pro, it's powerful, all this shit. It's awesome. It still has a 6x6 grid. Eat a dick. Yeah. It's just dead real estate. Yeah. Like I can't use a desktop system. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, it's just it's dumb what
if they put Mac OS on it? That'd be dope.
It's dumb what people will say or believe and blindly. Like, it's insane.
Right, because at the end of the day, it goes back to, oh, but it's an Apple, right? It's a Mac.
But it's a Mac.
You know how
many times...
It's an iPod.
You know how many times I've heard it was like, but it's a Mac. It's not supposed to break. I'm like, what? What? In what world? Not in this one. I don't know if you live in a different world than me, but not in this one.
I had when I worked at Staples, I went out on an on-site for someone. It was the weirdest thing because that was a laptop.
Right.
So I didn't understand why I was going to their house. Like, why am I going to your house if you have a laptop? But it was a MacBook, and I was like, I'm going through. I'm like, have a few tools because at that point I was just working on Mac or Windows.
Yeah.
I'm like, I personally have a few tools, so let's see what we can figure out. And it was malware. It's like, but I thought Macs, blah. And I'm like, no. All computers can get viruses.
Oh, my favorite is.
But guess what? Guess what can't get viruses? iPads, because they're not computers.
My favorite is.
What's a computer? Goddamn.
My favorite is I paid so much it should break. I'm like, listen, motherfucker.
Oh yeah.
I've watched people pay $250,000 for a car. That bitch is in the shop right now. So
motherfuckers pay $500,000 for a house.
I paid.
Guess what? The furnace still needs to get replaced.
I paid $24,000 for my car, and only now has its first issue at 70,000 plus miles.
Stop it, man.
And I'm still not taking it to the shop because I'm doing it myself. Listen, stop being stupid. Like, stupid is stupid because you're making it stupid.
Dumb. It's dumb.
Shit don't just not break. Like, that's not gonna happen. Listen, I get it. I've had a TV or this computer for 10 years. I've never had problems, and I get this brand new one. I had problems. You should have played the lotto in that 10 years, because the fact that one of your devices didn't break in 10 years, had an issue in 10 years, you should play the fucking lotto every day in that 10 years.
When I first started doing the tech support from home, I had a customer who's like, I've had computers for 15 years and I have never had problems. And I was like, that's really awesome. I wish I could say that, because I have never, 15 years without a single computer problem? Celebrate. Throw a party. Fuck out of here.
Throw a fucking shit. Literally, throw a party. It's a going away party. Guys, I know this is
right.
I can't expect it to go longer than 15 years. Let's throw a party.
100%.
That's it. It's over.
It's the same, but it's the same. So, going back to brand loyalty, it's the same. The mentality for computers and all that shit is the same as motherfuckers who are like, Xbox is better than PlayStation.
Well, that's
Marvel's better than DC.
I was just gonna say. I was just gonna say it's like I'm a car guy, so it's like, oh, Ford's better than Chevy, Chevy's better than Ford, Dodge's better than all
that. Shit's hilarious.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I like shit that's fun, so I don't give a shit what brand it is.
That shit's always been hilarious. I've met a few people who are funny, haha, I like Ford over Chevy. Yeah. But I've met people who are dead set, I would never fucking drive a Ford.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm like, wow, that's a little aggressive.
Yeah, because then they'll splur out all the dumb shit that goes behind Ford.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, found on road dead. Or racing a Ford is like the Special Olympics. Yeah.
I remember when I was working at AutoZone, I had a guy come in one day, one of those garage mechanics.
Yeah.
He was picking up. He had a customer. He's like, oh, I'm working on a Crapalier, and I was like,
Crapalier.
Okay. Because I was like,
guess what, man? My Crapalier, fucking the only time it was
on
crap,
a second user.
Yeah, the only time it was crap is when I made it crap. When I fucking went to go destroy the shit out of it. So
it blows my mind.
That fucker took everything I could throw at it.
There was, and I think I'm gonna get a little deep here. The people that make those decisions that are like, I'm gonna stick with Sony, Nike, whatever. Those are the same people that have a problem with realizing the actual problems we have in the real world.
I know.
Because those are the people who can't understand the other side of the argument.
No, 100%.
They're just like, this way is the right way, and that's it.
That's why I'll never have brand loyalty. I'll never have one particular thing. When it comes down to cars, I'm going to have so many different brands. It's going to be great. It's going to be glorious.
On the technology side of things, on a very practical level, outside of major factors buying a $80
Right.
tablet versus a $300 tablet.
Like, here's the thing.
There is hardware differences.
Here's the thing. We had a bad experience with customer service from Asus.
Right.
Most likely that we're not
I'm
going to
apprehensive about Asus boards.
I'm not going to buy an Asus board. I'm most likely not going to buy an Asus card.
But I might buy an Asus computer.
But I might buy an Asus computer.
If I'm looking at laptops, which I will be, one of these days.
Just saying.
It's not off the table.
Right.
If I look at it, it's got a a ZenBook looks really good. It's got the price point.
Yeah.
I'll give it a whirl.
Yeah.
I'm not.
We buy MSI boards, but we're not loyal to. We'll go with Gigabyte.
Right.
I'll go with ASRock.
My friend, I just picked up her computer, which by the way, it's in the car. Today, we bought her an ASRock.
Yeah.
It had what she needed.
Yeah.
I think people need to.
Oh, it's that computer.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a badass board.
Yeah. I forgot how heavy that fucking thing was.
That board should be still badass.
Yeah, it is. It's still good. Her Windows, she got a pretty significant virus issue.
Nah.
Her network doesn't it won't connect online.
Jesus.
But it also might have been she had a update, and I guess there's been an issue with Windows 7 updates. So
Windows 7. Jesus.
Yeah, so she bought Windows 10, which is gonna go upgrade.
We're just going straight.
Yeah.
Straight. Yeah.
But no, it's it really, to really get the most out of life.
Yeah.
I think you just gotta buy what makes sense for you. Like a lot of times, because people come to me and they're like, "What's the best computer? What the fuck do you need? Like, what's the best one? The most expensive one. It has the most shit in it,
bro.
Like that's the answer.
I'm getting close to getting out of debt. I want to race cars. I'm literally going.
Yeah, what's the best car?
Shit, what's the best car? Fuck, like
what's the best sedan?
If I'm gonna race cars, fuck it. I'm just gonna go with a Porsche, right? Like,
what's the best car?
Let's go buy a GT3 or a GT2. Fuck it, just say fuck it. Throw the money.
What is that? The best car, Hans?
I mean, it's very possible that it could be the best track car. But no, like, I'm gonna buy a cheap car and I'm gonna build it and then I'm gonna go fucking race it in a cheaper event until I gain more funds, get more let's say sponsors and stuff like that, and then I'll go into bigger races and maybe a different car. Maybe not. Shit, that car might be so fucking good I won't need another car.
Real talk.
But I'll still have another car.
Uncle Peter, you should absolutely check out. First of all, before I say this, you should check out Otis's video on his channel, Full Throttle Auto, for Vintage Torque Fest. Outstanding video. He's about to have another one come out for that same event. For Vintage Torque Fest next year, we should buy like a $500 like Civic and just
to throw it in the demolition derby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking demo derby or just because it was such a fun, like watching it was so fun.
The demolition?
The demo, like even just the racing, just like the race.
But if you're gonna do the racing, you gotta have something vintage.
Well, yeah, because that's vintage. But but I just mean like just to throw it on the track when it's like open. Because there was after the last race, after the last like demo stuff, on the second day, it was just open. You could just throw
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because that's why they were asking. They were going to close the track, but they were asking if anyone wanted to go on the track.
Well, I mean, if I'm going to do that, I won't buy a cheap Civic. I'll try to find something more vintage and just do that in general.
It was such a blast. But yeah, like.
I'll try to find a Chevy so I can toss a Chevy engine in it because usually you can find a cheap V8 Chevy. So.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, because I'm one of those people.
You got to buy one of those cars that has the rear turning wheel. That was so gangster.
I'll never do that.
That was so gangster.
That's too much for me.
Check out on YouTube. There's a video called the craziest tires. Actually, I just sent it to you, so I have the link. It has the most ridiculous stuff. It's called Most Incredible Tires with a Y for some reason of all time.
I think that's a Europe thing.
Most Incredible Tires of all time. It has this incredible. They talk about this was like the 50s, and it was this rear. It was a perpendicular wheel that came out from the back,
so you can
under the trunk,
parallel park,
so that you could parallel park these giant monstrosities.
Complete Yui in your
complete Yui. That was insane. Full circle.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I want that now.
It's too much for me. However, the glowing tires, I wouldn't mind.
The crazy glowing tires.
That'd be fun.
That was nuts. Dude, that was insane. But at first they said it was dyed, and I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. They're just painted tires. But then they said they fucking glowed. I was like, glowing tires? Dude, let's get 5.
Right. But no, yeah, it's that'd be fun.
100%. Yeah, I think.
I don't know.
To close it out, brand loyalty is fucking stupid.
Overall,
buy what you need. Buy what you need. Yeah. Always consider what you need, regardless of the fucking brand. Yep. Regardless of like, oh well, it's not as expensive as the other one. Yeah, but if you don't need that,
right?
Like real talk. Like there's a difference between saying I'm going to buy the cheapest versus I'm going to buy what I need. What you need may not be the cheapest, but it may not be the most expensive.
Right.
Like. You got to consider what you actually
like. One day I'm gonna buy a Ford S550 Ford Mustang GT, but I'm not gonna go buy a fucking one that's $50,000. I'm gonna go buy one that's maybe $20,000. You know,
because like, that's what you need. That's what you want.
Right. Because like I just want a fucking V8 that I'm gonna modify anyways. Like it's not gonna be so I don't need a balls to the wall because
and you're not gonna be like I'm gonna drive Ford Mustangs for the rest of my life. You're gonna be like, hey,
but then
I also Corvette next year,
right? And then I also want a C6 Corvette, and then I also want
ZL1 Camaro, man. That's the one I want. I'm too big for it. I'm too tall for it, but I would want.
I also want a 370Z. I also want an FRS. I also want like 50 other things. So
right.
We have them all.
All right. Well, that's gonna be it for this one. Pretty much, I think we covered everything pretty well.
No brand loyalty.
No brand loyalty. Stop having brand loyalty. That's gonna be it. That's the period on
That's it. That's it. Done. End it now.
You know, we had
Time's up.
we had a bark collar for her, but apparently it's not being used. That's gonna be it for this one. Uncle Peter, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it.
Just end it, bro. Dog just barking. Let's go.
Dog's barking? All right. Fair enough. Thanks for hanging. We'll see you.